Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 4, Episode 9, and the name of this episode is He's Dead. Man, this was a great episode, and I'm so happy that this show is back, because for those of you who follow me, y'all definitely know that How to Get Away with Murder is like my favorite show. So I'm so happy that this show is back because it left us on a crazy cliffhanger. Laurel ends up having, a premature birth in the elevator, which is stuck, and she literally bleeds. She really loses a lot of blood inside the elevator. And we saw that, Annalise actually, pretty much does CPR and actually puts pressure on the baby, and the baby actually is alive. So pretty much her and Laurel survived that whole ordeal. But then we also know there's another bloody mess at Kaplan and Gold where Simon, accidentally shot himself. So now we got the whole crime scene there. Asher has been arrested, and it's just a big old mess. So we pretty much see, the crime scene. Well, actually, pretty much the scene at the elevator. We see that Laurel's purse is still there, and the box is inside. The actual box where they have all of the files from Complain and Gold. Because y'all remember they did that heist where they, took Tegan's card to hack into all of Laurel's father's accounts. So they have all of that information, in this hard drive that was in her purse, and we see that the hard drive was still in the purse, because they finally medical attention came and they was able to get her out the elevator, but they left her purse there. So we pretty much see we see that going on. And we also saw on this, in the last episode, Connor was actually talking to Michaela on the phone, pretty much saying that because they pretty much now know. I mean, because Connor pretty much knows everything that happened at Kaplan and Gold, and he was saying that, see, I told you this was a bad idea, and he's talking about, Laurel has to, it's a good thing Laurel has to drive and everything, but damn, now this shit is going on, and now it's just a big old mess, and now everybody's involved. And, Michaela and Connor are talking on the phone, and we see that Dominic is actually hiding in the dark. And we actually see that he was about to kill Connor until he pretty much, called, but then we see that Connor calls Annalise, and Annalise actually, and then Annalise actually tells him about Laurel, because Connor pretty much tells him about what's going on with the shooting of Simon and all of that, and what's going on at Kaplan and Gold, but then she lets him know about Laurel, and I think him talking about that is what made Dominic back away, because Dominic was about to kill Connor. Little does he know. So then we actually see that Connor goes to Nate, and he kind of lets her know what's been going on, and then he lets it be known about Laurel being in the hospital and all of that, and we see that Bonnie is sleeping on sleeping on Nate's couch, and Nate answered the door, showing that chest. I was like, yes, God. Billy Brown is fine as hell. So if anything, he was actually shocked to see that Bonnie was there, and Bonnie looked like she was hungover. And we see that Asher's in jail, and we see that Annalise and Frank are at the hospital. Right now, Laurel's unconscious, so they don't know whether Laurel's going to live or die. But right now, she's unconscious, fighting for her life. But then later on, both Bonnie and both Annalise and Frank are together, and pretty much, the doctor finally gives word that, the baby's stable and she's stable, And he's pretty much saying that, he's the father of the baby. But once we saw the baby, that baby is just as chocolate as me. So we now know that Frank is not the father. But it doesn't get confirmed until they start talking to the Department of Human Services, because now they're pretty much saying that, she's pretty much at risk and the baby's not safe. And we see that all of this accusations are being spun by somebody. And we see both Annalise and Frank fighting with these two representatives from the Department of Human Services, and they're kind of like caught left, like, where are you guys getting all this information from? And then the next thing you know, Annalise looks and she sees that Annalise's father's there. I'm sorry, not Annalise's father. I said she looks and she sees that Laurel's father, Mr. Castile, is actually there. So she immediately realizes that a lot of these accusations are pretty much coming from, Castile, because he completely took over the situation. He tells one of the head doctors that he wants the head of the department, and he wants to protect, and pretty much because of the situation and due to Laurel's past, because we come to find out there was a whole bunch of paperwork, that the Department of Human Services was going by. So they granted the father immediate, custody of the baby. And it was also, Frank finds out he's not the father by the agent with the Human Services. She said that she did a paternity test recently with her doctor, and it proved that, you're not the father of the baby. So we now know that, Wes is the father. But we can look at the baby and can tell because that baby was dark. And so it gets to the point where, they're trying to come see the baby, but the Department of Human Services is now allowing them to, saying that you guys are not family, you don't have rights, you just can't do this and can't do that. Annalise stepped up in lawyer fashion, like, I'm her acting attorney, and on top of it, you are completely making judgment calls, and not actually adhering to her rights, and due to the fact that she's unconscious, you are making judgment calls without her consent involving her and her child. So what I need you to do is give me every single document you have, that you're going by, or else I will literally have so much litigation, going up your ass, you ain't gonna know what hit you. So she finally gives her all this information that Annalise requested, and she's like, well, great. It's the one answer, it's the one right thing you've done all night. And she looks at these documents and she sees, possession of cocaine, and saying that she had psych history, that she was bipolar, and that she was mentally disturbed. So, and we see a lot of these cases, it was her against her dad. So she knows off the bat her father is the reason why the Department of Human Services was there. So pretty much she says that after reading all this, she reaches out to Dr. Isaac and she's like, I need for you to come to the hospital. But the hospital that she's at, he has no jurisdiction there. But she tells him to come anyway. And then we see that Connor leaves a message to Michaela, telling her about Laurel, that Laurel, had, pretty much had a premature birth, and she's in the hospital, and possibly the baby's dead and all that. So he lets Michaela, he's been calling Michaela, but Michaela's not answering, and the reason is because they're about to be interrogated, by the police that are there. And Michaela and Oliver are talking, and they're like wondering, why did Ashley get arrested? What did he say? And she kind of puts it together. She's like, he told them the truth. And next we see that Ashley up in the prison crying his eyes out. Then all of a sudden, Nate comes, and him and Nate, so pretty much he tells Nate what actually happened. And we see Michaela and Oliver are literally are being investigated by the head detective, who's actually played by Kim Hawthorne. I love her on Greenleaf. She plays the role of Carissa, but here she's playing, I think, one of the head detectives on the case. Well, actually, yeah. So she's, you know, really just trying to get a slam dunk because right now, because you know, Ash's fingerprints were on the gun. So they pretty much tell the story, but they literally tell the story that Simon killed himself, but Asher himself is telling what actually happened to Nate. And then he said that, look, I knew that my DNA would be on that gun, so what was the purpose of lying if it was going to lead back to me anyway? So I might as well tell the truth, but then the truth got him locked up. So then, we see that Bonnie, finally at, Annalise's apartment. We see that there are, crime investigators there. And we see that she sees all the blood in the elevator. And pretty much one of the head detectives there was like, look, the reason why we're doing this is because this is Annalise Keating, and we know she don't have a history of telling the truth. So we're pretty much seeing, was there probable cause, or was this a more sinister situation, because there's a lot of blood being shed, and it's at Annalise's house. So what the hell? So then we actually see that Connor and Annalise finally meet up at the hospital, and they pretty much talk about, she pretty much shares with them, the situation involving Laurel. And then she pretty much tells Isaac that, look, her father is making up these claims, and what I want you to do is to do a psychological evaluation on her once she wakes up. And he's saying that, look, I have no jurisdiction at this hospital. I can't do this. And he's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to get involved. So Annalise, doing what she does, lets him know, oh, you're doing it. Because if don't, I will report to the board you and your wife of gross misconduct. So I'm like, Annalise know how to work the angles. She's like, you're gonna do an evaluation on her, because she's saying it doesn't make a point because I don't have any jurisdiction there, Leah. But you're pretty much a person who is known with the court, so you can give an evaluation to say that she's not crazy and that she's not a threat to her child. So then we actually see that Laurel finally listens to her message from Connor. She's emotionally shooken up. They're still questioning Oliver at Kept Planning Go, so she ends up leaving to go. But before she can, so she gets on the elevator. Next, before that elevator can shut, Tegan stops her, and she's like, so she pretty much asks him, how the hell did Simon get my key? And she's like, I don't know how he did it. She's like, yeah, how did he get the key? Because I remember correctly, I left my purse with you. So how did he get my key when I know my key was in your purse? And due to the fact that my card was used, it's gonna all come back on me. So I need to know, were you behind this, or did Simon really take my key? And she's like, Simon really took the key. I'm sorry. I don't know how he did it, but Simon took the key. He was the one that was behind this. And Tegan was looking like, you know what, you're not as good as a liar as you think. So she's like, you ain't telling me the full fucking truth, bitch. But she's like, at the end of the day, my career is on the line. Pretty much my car was used, so therefore everybody, including Mr. Castile, knows her car was used. So you putting me in the hot seat. So this shit's gonna be rather interesting. So then we see that Dr. Isaac meets up with Frank. They pretty much, hear about all, and like he pretty much finds out, that, supposedly she has psychological issues, and that they found cocaine in her system and all this shit. But then finally it finally plays the scene that they show, before the winter break, where she finally wakes up and she's just going crazy. Where's my baby? Where's my baby? Where's my baby? They get to a point they end up strapping her to the bed and handcuffing her. You know, because she was just going off, where's my baby, where's my baby? And I'm like, yo, it's crazy. And then so therefore, Dr. Isaac ends up calling Annalise, is like, where the hell are you? She's awake. You know, get your ass back here now. So then we come to find out that, you know, what ends up happening was that they can't even get access to the baby because the father used his emergency custody and actually had the baby moved to another location. So then we actually see that finally Michaela and Connor run into each other at the hospital, and she was saying that, you know, like, what the hell is going on? Like, why I've been calling you? Why haven't you returned my calls? And she says that we were being, you know, interviewed, you know, we were being interrogated, you know, at Complain and Gold, and she said that, you know, so where's Oliver? She says, oh, Oliver was still asking questions when I left. So he flips out. He's like, you mean to tell me you left Oliver? Really? You left him there by himself to come here? She's like, and then, like, you know, she's, like, emotionally shooken up because she's like, well, what happened to Laura? What's going on? What happened to the baby? Is the baby dead? And he said, probably. The baby's probably dead. And she says, are you happy now, Michaela? Because all of this would not have happened if you would have just told Laurel no. So he pretty much put it out there, bitch, you're one of the main people that's responsible for this, because when Laura was going on her tangent to want to do this operation, you should have told her no, but you went along with it, and now look at the mess. Simon just got shot, and now she'd had a premature birth, and, you know, they don't know the whereabouts of the baby. So pretty much we see that once, you know, she gets word that, you know, the baby's being moved, you know, and, you know, she won't have, and like Laura won't have access to her own child, she sees Mr. Castile and she confronts him, and she's saying, and pretty much he thanks her for saving the baby's life, but he said that, look, my daughter is not well, she's not stable, and I want to get my grandson the best care. He's not going to get the best care here. And, you know, she goes off and she was like, no, you're going to hurt this baby. That's what you're going to do. You're going to have blood on your hands. And he was like, and he was saying that, and she was saying that, look, I know Laurel. He's like, you don't know me and you don't know my daughter as well as you think you do. But, yes, you know, I'm happy that my grandson is alive, but now I'm going to take matters into my own hands. This is a family matter, but, you know, she is just, like, emotionally messed up, because she's like, yo, your daughter right now could have literally died having this child, and you literally come in and just pretty much put her, literally have her strapped to a bed, and you take the baby and move it to another facility. So we pretty much see that Annalise, you know, after this whole situation, we actually see what when Isaac was calling her, she was actually soaking in the shower, because she's just completely shooken after, you know, what transpired, and then after she, you know, ran into after she ran into Laurel's father, she went home to shower. So she finally comes back, and so we pretty much see that right now she's in the shower, but then Dr. Isaac walks down the hall thinking it's Annalise that he sees, but it's actually Michaela, and they showed that during the, before the winter break as well, and she's saying, like, is he dead? You know, talking about the baby. But at this point, he has no idea about the baby. You know, so he's like, I think so. And she's like, he's dead. It's like everybody is always dying around us. And she just breaks down and, you know, just kind of collapses into Dr. Isaac's arms. You know, and then at the time, you know, his phone rings, and it's the name Julie, which was the fake name that Bonnie gave him, but he doesn't answer the call. So then we see Bonnie is now at the crime scene at Complaining Gold, and she asks about, is there a witness, and they point her to Oliver. So they know Oliver's there. So pretty much, Bonnie pretty much asks Oliver about the hard drive, and she's like, well, how do you know about it? He said, Connor told me, because Connor did mention, Connor did come to the house, to talk about it with Nate, but Bonnie was there too. So he tells her that Laurel has it. But then, she also, knows that, but then again, then I think she kind of lets, they don't show her telling him, but I think she lets him know about what happened to Laurel. So yeah, that hard drive, yeah, we don't know, but it ain't with her. So, well, the last time we checked, it was in her purse, but that hard drive went missing real quick. So therefore, we see that Michaela and Dr. Isaac starts talking, and she had mentioned that Laurel her OBGYN had took her off her antidepressants, and then he's saying that her father is planning things and he's using this against her so he can, maintain that control, but then also can gain control over her child. And she's like, there's no way in hell. She's not on drugs. Those test results are fake. So he's asking her, when did she stop taking her antidepressants? But Michaela ends up walking away and doesn't answer him. So pretty much we actually see that, Bonnie is actually talking with so we pretty much see that, so what ends up happening is that Connor finally shows up back at the Planet Gold. They're not letting him in, and he pretty much says that, look, my client is in there being interviewed, and I have the right to be there with my client, and I will have a lot of litigation coming your way if you don't let me through this door. And Bonnie pretty much says, he's good, let him in, and we see that they finally let Oliver out, and definitely, we see that Oliver and Connor hug, because Oliver's definitely shaken up because he literally saw Simon accidentally shoot himself, and this has definitely shooken up Oliver, and Connor's there, so pretty much we saw that go on. Then we see that Annalise comes to Laurel's room and see that Laurel has been handcuffed to the bed, and she tells the nurse, take those damn cuffs off. And she's like, well, I have to, I can't take them off. I would have to get the head doctor to do that. And she says, well, get the head doctor to do it, or I'll do it my damn self. And then while she's pretty much, talking, she pretty much says that, Laurel starts talking to Annalise, and within this scene, she reveals that Dominique warned me. So remember, like in the mid-season, in the winter finale, she got a call from someone because Laura was not even supposed to be at Complaining Gold, but she got a call and she showed up there with a gun. The thing is, we come to find out the person who called her was Dominic. Dominic called her and said that, I know what you're about to do. Don't do this. And your father knows that you're pregnant. So, what else do you think he knows about? So he kind of let it be known. We know what you're about to do, and I'm telling you, don't do this. So Dominic tried to warn her, but she went anyway. So then, the next time we see Dominic, he's now at Complaining Gold questioning Tegan, because Tegan is one of the attorneys that represents them. So he's pretty much saying that, look, everything, nothing was stolen, as far as the files and all of that. Everything's intact, but they know that her card was the one that was used. So she's like, well, yeah, we need to get a thorough investigation. She says, yeah, we can definitely do that with the IT guy. He gets here on Monday. She's like, I ain't talking about. So Dominic's like, I ain't talking about the IT guy. I'm talking about the guy that was here at the shooting. Who is that guy? Or do I need to call Mr. Castile and bring that up to him? So I think you need to give me some info. And she mentions Oliver Hampton. Because obviously Oliver, they know, because definitely that whole place is under a lot of surveillance. So they knew Oliver has been there and he's been working with Michaela. So, so pretty much he pretty much wanted, Oliver's information. So I'm like, damn, Oliver's now about to get hit. Because Oliver was, because he was also close with the IT people. So he's like, nah, I want you to give me the guy that, so they've been keeping tabs on everything. And she gives up Oliver's name. So we definitely see, that finally they get the so then we actually see that that Bonnie actually gets Michaela's she gets Laurel's bag and returns it to her, and it pretty much lets her know that there was no hard drive in the bag, so somebody got it, but we don't know who. And yes. Yeah, because she pretty much told her, look, the baby was pretty much, the bag was in police custody, but there was no hard drive there when they got it. So someone took it before the police was able to get their hands on it. So pretty much, she actually, so pretty much, Laurel pretty much admits, I put this baby in danger by doing what I did. I deserve to lose my child. I deserve this, because, Annalise is saying, we're going to get your baby back. But she's saying that maybe I'm just getting my karma. So then, so pretty much, we actually see, so pretty much we see that Annalise and Dr. Isaac have a scene where they're talking about, she's pretty much trying to get him to see that this is a setup. She's not, crazy. She's not a substance abuse. She's not addicted to substance abuse, and she's not a victim of substance abuse and all this shit. So she's saying that this is all stuff that's concocted by her father, and you need to see this for what it is. But Dr. Isaac is saying that no, you need to let this go, and there's really nothing else we can do and all that. And he's trying to say, he's like, I know you're shooken up because you had to deal with that baby, and we know that this definitely triggered you in the past. She said, this ain't about me. This is about Laurel. Laurel is about to lose custody of her child because her father is using falsified information to make her look a certain way, and you're not getting it. You're not seeing it. And he's like, no, you're not getting it. This is too much for you, and you need to kind of back off of this. And then she flipped and said that, now I see why your damn daughter killed herself, because you driving her crazy just like you drove her crazy just like you driving me crazy right now. I was like, Annalise went the fuck off on his ass, because she's trying to get him to see that, yo, this is not what it looks like. So pretty much we see that Nate and Bonnie actually meet with the detective that's played by Kim Hawthorne, and she's pretty much saying that, look, this seems like this is a perfect crime. I just think we need to go ahead and just charge Asher for the murder. And she's saying that, but it's a possibility that he had nothing to do with it. Yeah, his DNA was on the gun, but maybe the story that he's told, Nate, could be possibly true. And then she had mentioned that, that he's her ex-boyfriend. But she's like, oh no, but so I think you just need to remove yourself from this altogether. But then Bonnie clapped back. She's like, well, what I could also do is, due to the fact that I'm his attorney, I can actually represent him, and I will pretty much, throw so many daggers into your situation that you won't know where to turn. Because at the end of the day, you really don't know what happened, so you need to just wait. So that alone got Asher out of jail. So we see that finally Asher meets up with, Michaela, Oliver, Connor, and all of them. So finally, so pretty much Nate got Asher out of jail. But it's still kind of probable cause, because we come to find out the reason why they let him out was because technically Simon is not dead. Simon's unconscious and he's in critical condition, but he's still alive. So they start coming up with schemes like, well, damn, that will throw everything we did down the river, because we all said that Simon was behind this, and the only way it can work is because if Simon's dead. But if Simon is awake and he's alive, he can eventually testify against us. So then I think it was, I forgot who it was who said that, yeah, maybe we should send Frank, to pay Simon a visit. And this just set Oliver off. So I was like, are you serious? This man is fighting for his life and you're still trying to put something on him? And they're like, look, it's our only option. It's like, yeah, of course it's your only option, because all you do is think about yourselves. All you do is throw people down just to protect you. And I'm like, in some way he was telling the truth, but then again, like, Oliver, aka Olive Oil, you need to get it together, honey, because there's a hit right now on your ass, and at the end of the day, you're not safe either way. But he feels some kind of way because, we definitely saw on the, winter finale, what's his name? Simon had confessed that he was in love with Oliver. So Oliver does care for him, because he considers him a friend. But he's like mad because they are just quick to just throw Simon down the gutter to save their own asses. But then he's saying that, like, we all deserve hell. This man is out here fighting for his life, and we're trying to destroy him and still trying to, throw him under the bus to save ourselves. So he was just over it. So then we actually see that Dominic is about to go to his car, and he's saying, I want you to run info on Oliver Hampton. But before he can get in his car, Frank found his ass and was fucking him up. So he's pretty much interrogating Dominic. Dominic ain't giving him the information he wants, so he keeps beating his ass, and he's like, wow, she done got to you too. And the funny thing about it, she got to West. And she done got to me as well. Who you think you're in love with, you really don't know. You really don't know her. She always plays these kind of games. So it just made him even more mad. And then he's saying that, look, I don't have the hard drive. And possibly he doesn't. But who does? So I think that in time we're going to find that out. But whoever it is, it had to be somebody that was at the crime scene. Well, not the crime scene, but someone that was at the scene at Annalise's place. So he just starts going back and forth, Dominic and Frank, and he pretty much lets Frank know that, look, at the end of the day, you all mad and shit, but dude, you ain't the only one. She did the same shit to me. She did the same shit to Wes. She's known to do that. She's not stable. You really don't know who you're really dealing with. And then the next thing you know, Frank just gets so driven to madness that he ends up snapping his neck. And then we actually see that, Annalise and Laura having a conversation, and she says, I know a way I can get him back, get back the baby. She says, Dominic. And Frank was like, I don't think Dominic's going to be able to help you. She's like, oh, yes, he will. Because at the end of the day, Dominic has always did my father's bidding. He never had a life. And he cares about me, so he will help me. You know, and he's saying, oh, he ain't gonna answer the phone. And she's like, oh, he will answer it for me. You know, he's the one who stopped me from going, who tried to prevent me from going to Complain and Go that night. And if I would have listened to him, things would have went completely different. But I know that Dominic will be there for me. And they're saying, he's saying, don't call him. He's like, I'm calling him anyway. I'm like, here you go, Laura, being a hard-headed bitch as always. And the phone rings, and she sees that Frank has it. And she's like, please don't tell me you didn't do that. Please don't tell me you didn't do something very stupid. Like, you know, what the hell, how the hell did this happen? And then he pretty much says that I killed him. I snapped his neck. So, yeah. And he says that, look, him trying to warn me was him trying to do the right thing. So we see that, yeah, Dominic has been an operative. But he does care about Laurel. And she said that, look, he's always been my father's, right-hand man all his life. You know, he don't know any better. All he's done was do everything my father told him to do. But he says that he'll help me to get custody of my baby. But Dominic's dead. So then, pretty much, we see that, the last time Oliver went off, he ended up leaving. He comes back, to the hospital, and he lets, because they're all in the waiting room, and they pretty much, because they won't let them to go see Laurel. And Oliver says that he wanted to go see Simon, and he's like, I want you to promise me that no one is going to hurt him, that no one is going to that no one's going to hurt a hair on his head. You need to promise me that you guys are not going to try to do anything to him. And I'm thinking, okay, are you starting to have some kind of feelings for Simon also? I mean, but then again, Oliver is, saying that, look, he does care about Simon because Simon was his friend. So he's saying, promise me that you won't do anything to him. And then all of a sudden Annalise shows up, and she just shakes her head. It's like you guys will never learn. And then Frank pulls Annalise and lets her know that, look, we might have a situation because I got Dominic's phone, and there's a message on here, and he played the message, and it was it was Wes, going by the name Christoph. And he's like, yo, this is Christoph. I'm just letting you know that, there's a lot of trouble ahead, and, at the end of the day, we all can be in trouble if this goes down. Question is, what is he talking about, and where was it? Because we see that he was in a car when he made this call, and it was the night that he was killed. The question is, who was he calling, letting them know this information, and how did Dominic get his hands on it? So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of How to Get Away with Murder. So until then, everybody, take care.